Yeah. Welcome, and welcome again. If anyone's out there, and I hope someone is, but if you're not, well, maybe you will be eventually. Clobberin Times, issue number. Now, YouTube 62, all in all, for the whole shebang shooting match, 762. I hope you're all hearing when I was having a bit of a microphone issue there, but hopefully I'm being heard now. Please forgive me. Bit of a cook up there, bit of a misunderstanding. Yes, I suppose we should talk. Well, we're going to be reviewing a little bit of Doctor Who, but I want to welcome everyone who has been here. I want to first of all, as I always do. Oh, look who's here, the great Eric K, master of all wrenches. What's up, buddy? Oh yeah, be right back. I got you, no problem, man. Steve Mitchum. Well, I got two buddies here. Yo, Steve Mitchum, great friend, Steve Mitchum. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for being here, man. I put the word out. I probably need to put the word out again. Chris Persia, master of wrenches. All right, man. Another one popped in. I don't know what's going on with my my StreamYards here. So I hope you guys are hearing me. I guess you are. If you are, please let me know, because I'm still spoiled by the old days. You know, when I used to have in the old BTR days when I had text doing my sound checks. Oh, you got me there, Steve? Good, appreciate it, man. Because StreamYards is lying to me. I know there's at least a couple of you here, but I was saying that nobody's here. Now it's saying 1, 2. This thing's, I don't know if it's all screwed up or not anyway. But yeah, it's a Monday night. I've kind of tried to make Mondays, and I'm going to keep Mondays as a regular, I think, now. It's going to be Monday night Clobberin Times. From now on, it's got to up. Thank you, Chris Persia. I want to thank you and my guest and my co-host, Daphne Don Meredith and Frank Gifford. We are here tonight to witness, as always, a great athletic competition. Okay, enough of the shitty Howard Cosell, because nobody remembers Howard except me. But I want to thank the wonderful and beautiful and amazing Raquel Briggs, my wonderful friend who is my first officer now this past Saturday night, and going to be every Saturday night, where we will be talking about Star Trek. Had a wonderful time with her. We started out our epic journey. Just Joe. What's up, buddy? Hey, Jobber. Good to see you, man. I don't know what's wrong. This StreamYards is being kooky with the numbers, but yeah, so Raquel and I just had a wonderful time hanging out with Raquel the other night, talking some Star Trek, talking a little bit about the. By the way, I gotta put the. Let's see. Let me put the word back out that I'm on live now. Talking about Star Trek, starting with the pilots, and I hope we covered them well enough. You know, obviously, as Raquel and I talked about, it would take 50 years if we did it episode by episode, because we're going to review the whole shooting match, all of Star Trek, and of course, thanks, Chris. I do a lousy co-sell, but you knew who it was, so that's all that counts. And we're going to be covering it all. And so he's on the 30-yard line, the 20-yard line, the 10-yard line. By the way, do you know that young man does not like chocolate ice cream? I can't believe it. He is un-American, and he does not deserve to play in this league. Or something like that. So anyway, Raquel and I will be covering all of Star Trek, the whole shooting match, as I say. Original series, animated series, films, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. And after that, of course, after 2005, there is no legit Star Trek, so we won't have to bother about all of that nonsense. But right now, tonight, and again, I'm probably gonna just go ahead and make it Mondays and probably Mondays and Wednesdays, or Mondays and Thursdays. I'm not sure. We'll probably do an open geek talk Wednesday night. That's probably when I will do it. So I think I'm going to make my regular days Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mondays, try to have some sort of comic-related topic, geek or something like that. So I'm going to have to try to do a definite keep Mondays for a topic if I can. Wednesdays, open geek foolishness. and it may switch to Thursdays because I want to see if Flash can hang with me when he can. And then of course Saturdays Raquel and I will do the Star Trek thing, and we'll mix other things in there. Like sometimes in the daytime, I will do shows about various things, like from some of my Brit buddies who are up at a different time, or have different hours, so we can talk like 7 and some other things like that. Just Joe, yeah, your Bears are going to play my former team this Sunday. Yeah, Jobber, I don't know. I probably told you, but I don't know if I did. I gave up the NFL because I got sick of their politics and crap. 50 years of loving it. I gave it up, sir. But, so normally it would be our wonderful rivalry, both you and I and Mr. Shoemaker will be having. To my friends that didn't give it up, I wish them the best, no matter what side they're on. My Saints, I love them for 50 years. But so any of my family and friends who still follow it, I'll be happy for them if they do well. But since I'm out of it now and checked out, look, if your Bears, I know your Bears have had some problems. I don't watch much. I don't follow it anymore. Like I said, I gave up the NFL, but I do know what's going on in it a little bit here and there. Hey, you guys have played in New Orleans, and look, if you and Mr. Shoemaker and my buddy Abby, my friends who are Bears fans, you guys come out on top, I'll be happy for you. Just like I'm happy for my buddy Richard, my old buddy Almighty Sports Show. You remember him, Jobber? He's a Browns fan, and I'm so happy he got his Browns back in the playoffs after all this time. So as much as I hate what the NFL's done or whatever, my friends who are still into it, wishing you the best. Anyway, so yes, Monday is going to be some sort of geek-driven topic. Wednesday or Thursday, whichever one I settle on for the open show will be that. And then Saturdays, Raquel and I will tackle Star Trek. Now, I don't really need to spend a whole hell of a lot of time on tonight's first topic because everybody's been reviewing it to death. And in fact, I need to put out the blast one more time here. I got to put up my so if you guys would bear with me for a second, I need to put out the where that I'm live, because sometimes you have to put that out a couple times. Okay, so I'm going on live now on Facebook and Twitter and such. Not that it matters much, but you want to get the word out there and let people know you're running live. So I've done that there on Assbook. Now twat. Tomorrow night, of course, I'll be on with Loki and the gang as usual on 7 p.m. Central on Loki's 7 Kinds of Mischief Tuesday nights, every Tuesday nights. Okay, on live now. I just like to do that, even though I put out some notices before the show. While we're on live, I always like to do it one more time on Twat and Face Bag. And so that is done. Let's see here. But as I was saying, Dr. Jones, problem being, Probby, what's up? Happy New Year to you, my good friend. Nice to see you. I'm glad. We've got some across the pond representation there. Now, the first topic tonight, of course, is it's one that's very painful for me because it's Doctor Who related. Doctor Who and pain are just synonymous these days. But I feel like everyone else is reviewing it, so I don't have to do a whole lot. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that as also. Yes. Well, again, allegedly quit. I'm not sure I buy into it that Jodie quit. But yes, Avon lives as always, my good friend. But again, I'll talk about that a little bit. I just want to talk about the special. And again, everyone has beaten the special to death. I mean, Doomcock and Gary were pretty thorough about it last night, and a lot of people have talked to it. Our good old buddy Noel at the TARDIS Zone has had a lot of people on to talk about it. I was a little surprised by Noel's reaction to it. Mine was pretty much the way it. One of the things I was telling Noel, and again, love Noel. His reaction is his reaction. You can't do anything about that. I think there are a lot of people who have subjected themselves to the Chibi Whittaker era until now. Anyway, I know a lot of people just tuned out, did not watch this thing, and I don't blame you one bit. I wanted to review it. Well, it sucks. I mean, put it bluntly, it's a piece of garbage. It's a piece of shit. One thing I was telling Noel though. Yeah, I mean, my buddy Problem being like he's saying he didn't watch. He's never gonna watch it, and I don't blame you. Don't watch that crap. And Chris Persia, same deal. Don't watch that shit. I don't blame him one bit. I wanted to review it. I wanted to talk about it. And if you're gonna review it, my buddy Steve Mitchum says, I've never seen Doctor Who, but a great friend, of mine, the late great Roy Thornton, was visual effects supervisor for years. Really? Roy Thornton was visual effects supervisor for years. The late great, wow, Ron Thornton, huh? Thornton, I did not know that, sir. Wow, that's cool, Steve. I've loved Doctor Who for almost 4 decades. It's getting close to 4 decades. This year will probably be, it'll be about my 40th year of being a Doctor Who fan. Ever since I caught a snowy picture after I'd seen some pictures, of course, of Tom Baker in Starlog magazine books and things like that. A Starlog book called Sci-Fi Superheroes, and then maybe a couple of magazines. And finally, like on a dark and stormy Saturday night, Mississippi ETV, I caught it on like a very not so great on my little bitty black and white TV, a little snowy reception picture of part of Genesis of the Daleks, and I've loved the show ever since. I've never been, well, I'll put it this way. I've never been the biggest fan of what quote unquote new Who, but I have liked it I've liked it a lot. I mean, I'll always be classic Who guy. Sorry, but I really did like, look, I was sold, and I went in very skeptically with I was skeptical on the 2005 replay, rebirth of Doctor Who, but it was not a remake. It was a continuation. I like the Eccleston years. I like a lot of the Tennant stuff. I love Matt Smith, even though I didn't think he had nearly as good a story run as Tennant did. Moffat was better, in my opinion, at writing stories before it became showrunner. And then after that, for me, I guess I have to close it off a little bit at the 50th anniversary. Or, you could say Time of the Doctor if you need some closure. That's for me, because as much as I love Peter Capaldi as an actor, I was never satisfied for how his character was written. There are very few, if any, episodes that I really liked at all. I never really finished a Capaldi episode and sat there and go, I got to watch that again and again and again. As great as he is, and I just think he really got shafted. He got shafted in a lot of ways, especially by the BBC, of course, but also by just the writing in general. And yet I would have preferred seeing him stay. But I was not happy during those years either. But being unhappy with it is one thing. Not thinking the writing is good is one thing. As long as there's a great doctor, which, and a great actor playing him like there was with Capaldi, there's always hope the show can get better and heal if you get a good showrunner in there. But the BBC decided not to do that. They decided to bring Chris Chibnall, Chibi jackass chinballs, shitbag, and let him turn it into his own personal little political agenda. And we end up with a female doctor, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to be one of these guys that tries to make excuses. Oh, well, it's okay if you have a female doctor. It's not okay. The doctor's a man. Sorry. That's always been my position. If that makes me a sexist, so be it. I don't think it does. But if you want to conclude that, that's fine. And if they had a really, really good actress there, I still would have gone, yeah, she's good and a good actress and all that stuff, but the doctor's a man for me. Sorry. And I happen to know there are a lot of women that feel the same way. Smart Steve 68, good to see you, my friend. So anyway, let's see. World Enough in Time is probably the most watched component. Yeah, I thought that the Orient Express one or whatever early on, because Clara was pretty much insufferable, but that kind of felt like an old Doctor Who episode in a sense. But it's just, I really hated the way they wrote his Doctor. You can certainly say it. You could definitely say that, probably because that's exactly right. The Doctor is male, and I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, as I kind of told, again, our good buddy Noel at the Tartazon, I listened to Doomcock and Gary talk about the show last night, and I agree with every word they said. Mark with a C, great to see you, my friend. I thought it was just as big a piece of shit as they did. My only slight difference is I don't have a lot of emotion worked up for it now because you see, is it the very worst one that Chibi's put out there? I can't say it's the very worst. It sucks. It's a piece of garbage. I'm not even sure it's worse than the last New Year's special piece of shit, but it's as bad as that. But you see, he's done such horrible shit that his least horrible shit is still garbage. And there's nothing that can make me more angry and just disgusted and just as a Doctor Who fan, just outraged in that piece of shit, The Timeless Children. So after that, nothing was going to just even come close to being. I think that drained me of all of my potential for emotion about a Doctor Who episode ever again. For me, The Timeless Children did that. So I didn't get angry like my buddy Doomcock, which I don't blame him one bit. I mean, and I love Doomcock and I love Gary. They both thought it was a piece of crap. I agree with everything they said about it. Just an absolute shit show the thing is. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this either because this crap doesn't deserve a lot of time. Sitting through it's bad enough. And everyone's kind of gone through all the everything that's wrong with the show. And by detail, you don't need me to do it for you. I'm just going to give a basic opinion of it and talk a little bit about it. And I'm going to get to my other topic because I'm really, really excited about my other topic. I want to, and that will interest a lot of people because it's comics related and comics history related. But what the hell? I'm going to just screw around and talk about it anyway. But with Doctor Who, Dee Myers, thank you for being here, my friend. With Doctor Who, it still means a great deal to me. And these past 2 years, well, for a good while, really, but the past 2 years, when you don't even have Doctor Who Christmas specials to look forward to, even though the last couple of ones before these New Year's ones were not very good, in my opinion. Man, those were those years between 2006, 5 and 6, up until about 2014, 13, 14, whatever. That stretch there, Christmas was one of the fun things about Christmas, in addition to being Christmas, for a Doctor Who fan was really looking forward to that Christmas special. Moving it to New Year's is moronic in a lot of ways. So this is disgusting. It's disgusting. So this is a piece of garbage. It's funny, and one of the things that occurred to me about how this piece of garbage opens up, all the stuff at the beginning with the Dalek, let's see, you have Mr. Big, who we'll call Mr. Big. He's basically Donald Trump. This is a carryover. I forget that actor's name. He's famous from a piece of trash called Arachnids in the UK from Chibi's first season, which was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen ever. And that's saying something because Chibi, look, I understand how you can even say, wow, that Chibi episode's worse than this one. They're all so horrible they kind of run together, but there are some that are worse than others. And motherfucking Arachnids in the UK is a piece of freaking trash. It is so bad. It is so bad. And, of course, you have a carryover character from that. Basically, he's and forgive me for forgetting the actor's name. He's very popular. He was on Law & Order. Forget the dude's name. Someone here will know it. But he plays, I even forget the character he plays because he's such a cartoon caricature piece of crap character. But he's basically a stand-in for the Orange Man, even though they have their cake and eat it too, because in the Arachnids in the UK, they mention President Orange Man and the character hates him, and yet he's a stand-in for him. So they get to bash Orange Man, and then they get to make this character a stand-in for him. And my buddy Mark C says, I wanted to give Jodie the benefit of the doubt because of the bad writing, but she can't act as the Doctor. Joe Martin at least has screen presence. And you know what? It's still, again, as I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here when I was saying it, Mark with a C. I don't disagree with you. Again, the Doctor's a male to me, period, and no one else can be the Doctor. But it's still true. multiple things can be true at the same time. Jo Martin has far more screen presence. She's a far more competent, or even better, far better actor than Jodie. It's just that she's not the Doctor either. Yeah, Mr. Big. We'll just call him Mr. Big. What the hell? Because he's a joke in this thing. He's terrible in it like everyone else is. So we bring this guy back. And, after the silly opening with, oh, by the way, no, I'll say that later. We have the silly opening with the Dalek and stuff. Then we go to the prison that the Judoon have imprisoned Dr. Karen in. We learned that Dr. Karen's been in there like 19 years or something like that. Does anyone remember when the Doctor made this great speech? It was in this very beginning of the Matt Smith era about, you basically, it's one thing you never want to do if you value your safety or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I forget the exact speech. Is one thing you never ever put in a trap. Me. But of course, that's the Doctor. Jodie's not the Doctor. So, yeah, you don't put the Doctor in a prison, but you can put Jodie in there because she can't do crap. And I love the fact that this show is made by the worst SJWs, and yet what happens? Captain Jack, and what a shame, what a disgrace this is to Captain Jack. She needs a man to break her out. Remember how the Doctor could get out of anything? No way the actual Doctor, and again, thank you, Chibi, for just going out and proving even more that this is not the Doctor. This is not the entity known as the Doctor in a female body. This is just not the Doctor. The show's not Doctor Who. Because we all know the Doc is not invulnerable, but the Doctor would never be kept in a prison. The Doctor would get out. The Doctor's too smart. But this is not the Doctor. This is just a silly, face-making, dumb biatch that has no characteristics of the Doctor. And so she needs a man to break her out of prison. How sexist is that, Chibi? Whoops. And one of the sad things about this whole thing, though, is it's bad enough we just have to see a shitty. I mean, you don't have to see it. You shouldn't have to watch it. No one should watch it. But we have to. If you do watch it, you have to be exposed to seeing a wonderful, beloved character like Captain Jack Harkness destroyed. And this episode really does that. He is. It is. I mean, you love, and on the one hand, we love John Barrowman, and we love Captain Jack so much that you like. It's tough not to like seeing him. If anyone could make me not like seeing Captain Jack again, it's Chibi, and he did it. He made me not care about seeing Captain Jack again, and that's a damn shame. Because he is one of the most beloved Doctor Who characters, arguably ever. Let's see here. Who transports an alien machine that could end the world back of a truck with no security? Idiots who write Doctor Who. That's who, Mark with a C. That's who. Morons. You're right. Good one. There's only one thing you never put in a trap. If you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never put in a trap. Me. That's fantastic. You know what? When I went to Dragon Con one year, Chris Persia, that Matt Smith speech at the beginning, it was with the Big Bang. No, it was I forget the Pandora. Pandorica opens, I believe. That speech. Sylvester McCoy was on a panel, and someone gave him that speech, and gave it a Seventh Doctor version of that speech just for the fun of it to the crowd. And of course, it's a great speech by Matt Smith, and it's a great speech by the great Sylvester McCoy. I love the Seventh Doctor. Probby says, didn't Captain Jack commit a crime to get into jail? No, he said he committed a bunch of crimes, actually, yes. Spent 20 years getting closer to her, had this escape gizmo that could break them out instantly. Why didn't he use it to break in? Why didn't he use it to break into the jail? Because Chibi's a shit writer. That's why. Chibi's a shit writer is the only answer. And that's funny. You don't even have to apply any kind of logic to the show, because every time you ask any pertinent relative question like that, problem being, you simply concur with these writers are morons. Edie Myers, I didn't like Jodie asked the doctors always Didn't like Jody. Okay, I'm not sure. Always been a guy. Has always been a guy. I can remember. Yep. Also, it could have had a better storyline. Didn't like what they turned Captain Joe Captain Jack. Well, yeah, it was terrible. And again, it's just another character dumped on. Just another character dumped on. Should have made Whitaker's Doctor a Time Lady spinoff. Well, again, instead of a gender swap, is Steve. A lot of us might have gone for a show with a good writer, with with someone like maybe the Doctor's daughter, or more importantly, I'd love to have seen Romana. But yes, he committed multiple crimes, and he wouldn't tell her what they were. And I guess that was supposed to be funny. Anyway, the jailbreak was stupid. And when she gets back to the, I even hate saying it as a joke, the fam. It's been 10 months on Earth for the boring fam. And yeah, Romana would have been great. 10 months on Earth for the fam. They get back, and everyone's like, hey, Doc, whatever. But of course, Yaz. Yes. Oh boy, Yaz, of course, is really, really put out. The way a lover would be, because we all know she's in love with Karen. She's not even a doctor, not even the doctor, Dr. Karen, whatever. Oh, it is a cringe thing. Probably it is so cringe saying fam. It's garbage. Everything about the show is just such trash. It's putrid filth. I sat through this one. I may not be able to do it again. I don't know, man. I tell you what, I thought I could sit through anything. And after sitting through this shit, and at this point, this feels like about an hour into it. I guess it's like 20, maybe 20 minutes when Karen's back with her stupid fam, her boring ass family who doesn't want to be there. Poor old Bradley Walsh. I'll say even Tosin Cole, he doesn't really strike me as a bad dude. He may actually, I don't know if he's a good actor or not, because we'll never know on this show. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't really have any problem with him. I have no feeling or problem about him whatsoever. I just think that Bradley Walsh is probably obviously a very good actor who's stuck on a garbage show. And I don't like, a lot of people really give Yaz, whatever the lady's name is, a lot of crap. But again, her character's terrible. And again, you got to blame a lot of it on writing. People blame it the actress. I blame the writing. I'm saying I don't know if she's a good actress, and I've never seen her anything. Doesn't seem to be. Left the cliffhanger of her in jail, and they break out. Break out in wino the first few minutes. Did they ever explain why she was put in the jail in the first place? Absolutely not. Good point, probably. No, they don't tell us why she's in jail. I don't know why I don't know why there's she sees an ood in there and a weeping angel, and even that little stupid ass. What was that little Tasmanian devil thing from the first season? Whatever you call it, I don't know what you call it, and a couple of other enemies. Well, there's another thing too. Mark, let's see, that is a good point. The crazy thing is that the writers never dealt with the Doctor changing genders. It was never addressed on the show with the Doctor asking No. But they did, Moffat was complicit because he did set it up. And was it Hell Sent or whatever? Hell Bent, Hell Sent, whatever, which was that garbage last one with Clara, where they had a Time Lord old man who had been previously and been in the 50th anniversary regenerate into a black woman, and then she makes a crack about men and whatever, which was stupid. And it's just matter of factly changes, and he did that because he's an ass. Probably, Moffat's complicit in a lot of this crap. There you go, the Pating. I always called him the Tasmanian Devil. It's so stupid. Yeah, that stupid thing was in there. The Dune caught it and put it away. Dr. Whittaker. I like it. Oh, shit. Oh, man. More plot holes. Oh, shit. Yep. More hot with the movie Caddyshack. Yep. So, anyway, stuff and things happen. Really, not much does happen. They find out that they're 3D printer Daleks made by Mr. Big and this dude that's working for him who gets taken over by one of the tentacle Dalek thingies that I think we saw a little bit of in that was it that last stupid ass New Year's special? Yeah, there you go, Probby. Jodie Whittaker, I love it. That is fantastic. I hope she did Whittaker. I hope that's real. So, again, everyone's broke this down. I don't have to go that far into it. I can't. I mean, I've tried to mentally block it out at this point. Let's see here. Let's see if I can do it. Blah, blah, blah. Boring ass bullshit happens. Jack, again, you can tell John Barrowman's trying. He's playing Captain Jack, more or less the way Captain Jack is, that we remember him, that we love him. But, it's just kind of pathetic. He has nothing to work off of. It was mentioned prior that if a Time Lord commits suicide, they will regenerate into the opposite sex, which is why Chibi latched on to. Who mentioned that? When was that mentioned? I watched Doctor Who for 40 years. If I missed that one, I guess I could have. Let me tell you my thoughts on regeneration, what I've always believed about regeneration, and why the Doctor's regenerations go the way that they do. Since that's an actual Doctor Who topic, unlike this show, this special. I've always believed that, because Time Lords, apparently when they come up to a time to regenerate, as we see with Romana in Destiny of the Daleks, it just was her time to regenerate, apparently. And the Doctor's like, what do you do? He didn't know who she was at first. She was taking Princess Astra's body, who was played by Layla Ward in the previous episode, The Armageddon Factor, from the Key to Time season. And if you remember that scene, she's choosing, and he even tells her, go try another one. So she's choosing her bodies. Okay, thanks, probably. That's extended media, then it's horseshit to me. Let's see. Did an alternate female? Okay, well, they can eat a donk. I'm going by the show. They can call anything canon they want, but, Big Finish is dead to me right now. So, if people want to follow Big Finish, that's fine, but I'm going by the show. Romana has clear control over her regeneration. And she eventually goes through a few bodies. It's a comedic, it's a funny scene. Well, and then she stays, of course, with Lala Ward. Lala Ward. Which was great. I loved Mary Tam. My God, I loved her. Oh, my God. But Lala was okay. I'm sure I know Tom liked her. Anyway, for a while. But the Doctor, let's look at the Doctor's regenerations. Regeneration is mentioned. If you look at, before we do that, look at Planet of the Spiders, where Cho-Ji and Campo Rinpoche, who was apparently some monk, turned out to be a Time Lord, an old mentor of the Doctor. He was projecting his images, although he was using some pretty powerful projection powers. But when he is killed in Planet of the Spiders, he regenerates himself into that being that he's projecting all over the place as his servant. It was kind of confusing, but he was pretty powerful. And he was a Time Lord. Well, the Doctor, again, he had some pretty interesting powers, did Campo Rinpoche in that episode. However, when the Doctor is taken at the last episode of the War Games by the Time Lords, and they're giving him all these choices to regenerate him, it's clear that they're going to induce a regeneration. And they forced a regeneration upon him. He didn't get to choose it. Now, when he first regenerated from Hartnell to Troughton, his body was worn out. Then he had a regeneration that was induced. Then, at the end of Planet of the Spiders, all of the cells in his body were devastated by the Metebelis crystal. And with these strange Time Lord powers that we don't know much about, that Campo Rinpoche, Choji, had, he said he gave the cells a little push, and it would cause the regeneration. My theory on that is this. If a Time Lord's time is up to regenerate, or it's being caused by other Time Lords like they did with the second Doctor at the end of War Games, yes, he was the second, not the 50,000th, then I think a Time Lord is kind of pot luck. You regenerate, they don't, it's kind of, like the Doctor has said in many occasions, it's a lottery. Because in many of the times, the Doctor regenerates just because he was dying. He didn't get to choose. It just happened at random. And his body just did the switch. And again, unlike in the crazy RTD and Moffat eras, he didn't turn into the Dark Phoenix and blast the TARDIS into pieces. He just regenerated quite subtly because they didn't have the effects back then. Nor I don't think were they as gregarious back then and as hyperbolic back then to do such a thing anyway. I mean, I remember when I first saw Eccleston regenerate into Tennant and all that. I mean, that fire and shit like that. I'm like, okay, that's a little extreme. And then when Tennant regenerated into Smith and he turned into the Phoenix and just blasted fire all over the goddamn place, I'm like, that's a little bit extreme, dudes, but whatever, man. Anyway, so many of the Doctor's deaths, the Doctor falls from a tower, the fourth Doctor, and he regenerates and has some help from a future version of himself, the Vulture. They've never explained that. Spectrox toxemia kills the fifth Doctor, and he regenerates into the sixth. And he goes a little crazy when he's in the sixth form. But he's dying. He didn't choose it. A bump on the head causes Sylvester McCoy to regenerate into himself because Colin Baker couldn't do his own regeneration scene at the beginning of Time in the Ronnie. But still, 6 to 7, again, he was a bad bump on the head. He regenerates. And one of the dumbest ones, the Doctor who walks out into a hail of bullets, the seventh Doctor, gets operated on by humans and gets, and basically killed on an operating table. And later, in the stupid-ass Frankenstein-esque fashion, in my opinion, he regenerates into the eighth Doctor. And we've seen in Night of the Doctor that the Doctor, this regeneration is helped along by the Sisterhood of Karn. And they make him a warrior with some kind of, that's complicated stuff, I guess. So all of his regenerations are weird and different. And then, of course, War Doctor, we don't have a reason for him regenerating into 9, or not 9. Of course, he's really not 9, but, into Eccleston. It just does. Eccleston absorbed all that energy from the vortex. Can't do that. Changes into Tennant. Tennant radiation changes into Smith and turns into the Phoenix when he does it. Blasts the TARDIS to pieces. Smith is dying and is wasted all of it. He's out of regenerations, and all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe that Time Lords can give you a new life cycle. Remember in the 5 Doctors when they offered the Master a new life cycle? And that kind of shot the whole story to hell, because why would Barusa and then why would they need to do that? How can Time Lords offer someone a new regeneration cycle? And if so, why did Barusa need to steal the ring of Rassilon to become immortal? But anyway, I still love the 5 Doctors. Don't get me wrong. So regenerations are weird for the Doctor because he's a renegade. He was a renegade. And in my opinion, at the end of the Time of the Doctor, the entity that was the Doctor, ceased to be. And maybe the Valyard formed from that. See the ultimate foe in the trial of the Time Lord. Maybe some other being, some other Time Lord was, I don't know, transposed with him or something like that. I don't know, because he didn't really act all that much act like the Doctor to me. Let's see what Proby's saying here. What do you envision Jodie Whittaker's cause of regeneration will be? Toxic masculinity, a white male gazer beam, aneurysm from pulling too many scrunch faces. Well, buddy, you got a lot of good ideas there for Chibi. Listen, you need to send those out to Chibney. He could do that. She could be fighting of the master or something like that, and he can be really sexist to her. How about she's walking, the master slaps her on the ass. And she's so outraged, she just regenerates for no reason. She's dying. That's fantastic, by the way. Problem being, I love it. I would put that up there again. Regeneration will be toxic masculinity, a white male case or beam aneurysm. Oh, shit. I love it. She'll either fall from her ivory tower or she'll break a glass ceiling over her and the glass will come down and cut her to pieces. So it'll definitely, that's basically, it'll definitely be something like that. Yeah, I mean, I got to find some good way to regenerate her, right? So anyway, this episode, I have one strange observation I have about this fucking special. Maybe I need to. No, I don't want to watch it again. But maybe I should try to watch it again. But is anyone who here has not seen it? I don't know. But if you have seen it, was it just me? But as we know, for a couple of years now, we've all been making fun of her stupid faces and all the idiotic faces she makes and stuff. Well, because I guess this is part. I think maybe this was written this way. She was written this way. But to me, she's more subdued in this episode. She just spent 19 years in a prison cell. But she doesn't she doesn't go out with all the stupid faces in this one. I noticed that. Maybe a lot of people didn't. And I'm wondering, is it because of the all the ridicule she's gotten for her stupid faces? And they've toned that down and just wanted to make her seem like she's a little bit more bummed out because she just spent 19 years in a prison cell that no real doctor would have spent in. No doctor would have been spent any length of time like that. None of the above. She has induced angina in both hearts, induced from waving around her magic sonic stick. The sonic stick wasn't even in this one. If I recall correctly, no sonic vibrator in this one. No sonic dildo. Bolstrek had a field day. Oh, God, he did. I love Bolstrek. He's fantastic. I'm a huge fan of him. Bolstrek is the man. And you should see his little review, of this. Oh, probably. Maybe a Cyberman will kill her with Cybermansplaining. Oh, God. So everyone knows that, or doesn't even care what happens in this episode. Let's see. Stuff, things, explosions on a ridiculous-looking fucking Daleks. A couple of the really standout stupidity things are, Mr. Big at the beginning is making a deal with this really evil. Good God. The Prime Minister, of course, is this really, really revolting, evil-looking woman. She's so, like everyone else, she's a cartoon. Mr. Big's a cartoon, and this Prime Minister's a cartoon. And she creates this RoboCop army of these 3D printed Daleks. Yes, you heard right. Well, you all heard this already. So they're ridiculous. They look like shit, and I'm sure that would happen. You just say, "Hey, see these pepper pots with little guns on them and everything? They're going to be the cops now in UK. You're all fine with that, right?" Yeah. But if you don't like it, you'll be exterminated, and it's just this show is so friggin' over the top, so laughably bad. They can't even add any kind of subtlety or depth of character to their baddies. No, they just got to make him. One's a caricature of Orange Man. The other one, I guess. Well, she's not Boris, obviously, but she's some. She's not. Look. Was it Harriet Jones or whatever? Remember Harriet Jones, Prime Minister? She was silly, having to introduce herself, Harriet Jones, Prime Minister, all that stuff. But she was still a good character, with a good actress, and there was something to her. There was some bit of writing went into that character. Some thought went into her. This one, nothing. This Prime Minister bitch is just evil bitch, and she's got resting bitch face. Everything about her says bitch. No, but I love my Brit friends over there. I don't think any of you voted for this one. Now again, probably could correct me because he lives over there. He could maybe he could tell me it's believable they elected this bitch. But Jesus Christ, this nasty piece of work couldn't campaign or anything. This is just totally just awful. Mark with a C, that is true. How did the Daleks get real weapons? Didn't they only shoot water? Well, they were given real weapons by that stupid tentacle Dalek thingy. The actual living organic Dalek that would attached itself to the dude that went to this plant out in across the world, out in I guess in Japan or whatever. He added real unbeknownst to Mr. Big, added weapons to them. But is it supposed to having it explained? No, it's never explained. Are you saying Chinball, or Chibbies, doesn't human very well? I never noticed. Remember how insufferable he was as a teenager? Yes. Chinball doesn't human, like a lot of these idiots at the BBC and these people he hires to write. They don't human well, as the saying goes, because they don't understand people. They only understand narratives and agendas. They don't understand people. They cannot write complex characters. They themselves are not complex. They themselves are NPCs. They themselves have nothing going for them. These are a bunch of you know what they are? Wow, Chibi, probably for the win. That's exactly where I was going. I didn't even see this. Probably Chibu is an auton. Everyone who works for him is an auton. That is perfect. I mean, it works because it's a Doctor Who reference, and it works because that's what these people are. They're autons, and the Nest teens are just dead. So. I like the idea of breaking through the glass ceiling, killing her in the process, but allowing womankind to take over the world, killing the patriarchy in process. A woman, yeah. Anyone see that crap before Congress? Like the jackass who, after the congressional prayer, said, this really happened. You probably think I'm making it up if you haven't seen it. They say amen, and he said amen and a woman. Because the moron doesn't understand what amen, the word amen means. Yeah, that's our Congress at work, ladies and gentlemen. That's your tax dollars at work right there. Yeah, that's aside. I didn't mean we're not getting political. I'm just saying that was pretty ridiculous. That was what Eric was referring to. So, yeah, as you can see, I don't have a lot of emotion for this. The Timeless Children. After I sat through that shit, I really almost didn't talk about it much on the show. I did in like one night or so. But I can't. It just made me so angry, and it pissed me off like I did so many other people. Now, I just look at this crap and go, man, I just shot off a friggin' hour and a half, whatever it was, hour 10 that I'll never get back. So in order to fight these impure Daleks, the 3D printed Daleks from Mr. Big, Dr. Karen decides to come up with the brilliant idea of relying on the Daleks' racism, their racial purity. Because as you know, and it's been a running thread through the Daleks always, that Daleks are big into racial purity, as even Ace said once. So they don't like impure Daleks. So all of a sudden we have this new Dalek Death Squad, or whatever the hell they're called. They're I guess they're the SS of the Daleks, which is, again, fine. It's never been mentioned before that I know of. Not like that. It's just Daleks. Anyway, She's so stupid. She calls those Daleks to come deal with the other Daleks, make a war between those two Daleks and stuff. Again, everything in this episode is hijacked from something else. The old "we'll find the enemy of my enemy" and all this kind of crap. That old trope. It's tedious. It's crap. It was dumb. And as usual, the fam have to go aboard the Dalek ship to. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, Mr. Big's traveling in the TARDIS with them now. Mr. Big gets to see the inside of the TARDIS. Mr. Big is shown what a screw up he's done. Mr. Big has shown that he's endangered the world. Okay, Mr. Big has been proven that once again he's caused a lot of trouble. And of course, Mr. Big continues to be a cartoon. They have no develop to the character. They make sure you have no empathy for the character. And by the way, there's a good point that I was going to get to. No, Unit is not around, and I'll tell you why. Well, you just answered why. They made a stupid ass joke last year in the Dalek whatever thing that was called special, where there's no more Unit because of Brexit. I mean, go fuck yourself, Chibi. You're such a fucking wanker piece of shit. Fuck you with that shit. Twittiker is the British log version of American Plank of Wood actress Brie Larson. Yeah, they should do a movie together. Brie Larson and Jodie Whittaker should do a movie together to see who could not show an emotion the most. So not only does she get a man to help her escape, she calls in the help of the ethnic supremacist aliens to help her out too. Didn't she get Nazis to arrest South Asian master last? Yes, that's right. She didn't just out the other Daleks to the Dalek supremacists. Last year, that's exactly right. In Nazi Germany, to go after the master, she tipped off the Nazis. Dr. Nazi bitch. Exactly right. Unit is nothing to do with EU. It's United Nations, originally United Nations Intelligence Task Force, and they changed it to something else for some friggin' reason. But yes, it's this so goddamn stupid. That was just an excuse to make a Brexit joke. And an excuse not to have Unit involved. Even though Moffat used Unit all the time. You know, again, you see some shit like this going on in an episode, you expect to see the Lethbridge Stewart lady, the Brigadier's daughter. No, we can't do that. There's no Unit anymore. And there's no Torchwood. I guess there's no Torchwood either. There's only Captain Jack for a while. And in the episode, we got a Rose Tyler mention. Woo! Memory berries. And in the episode, we get a Gwen Cooper mention. Oh, that's so what? Thrill. You will thrill as they mentioned old characters from Doctor Who for 2 seconds. So, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You know, like any Doctor Who, even good ones, you know, the Doctor's going to win today. This isn't the Doctor. This is Dr. Karen. And I've noticed that all throughout the Chibi era, Mr. Female Empowerment, the Doctor never really wins anything. The Doctor loses all the time. The Doctor never really goddamn does anything. Good point, Chibi. Probably go. Chibi can't screw up a Unit or Torchwood. He could. I think he could if he wanted to. I guess he just doesn't want to use them. Well, there's that rumor out there that he might get his hands on Blake 7. And again, to me, there's only one Blake 7, so he can suck off. But if he does that, you know, we will go after him, my friend. You don't need Torchwood, but you could have Ryan. Yeah, you got Ryan and Graham and Yaz. Who needs Torchwood or Unit, right? Unit. Oh, yeah, that's right. They changed the Unified Intelligence Task Force. Yeah, the opposite of Chibi and his shithead writers. Okay, my friend, the great Problem being, thank you for being here tonight, buddy. I appreciate it. I hope we get to hang out soon, my friend. You take care. I really appreciate you, sir. Good buddy. A good buddy, problem being. Been a while. I hope we get to talk again soon. I really do. And so basically, the episode ends like the Chibi era ends. Meaningless and crap. Ryan and Graham said, you know what? You know, we don't want to go on any more stupid, boring adventures with your dumbass, you stupid bitch. So fuck you. I mean, they didn't say that, but they should have said that. They just said, well, you know, we really got more important things to do than be on this fucking show, you stupid. Nah, they didn't do that either. I think they really did kind of say that in code. So Yaz, of course, stays with her little, with her love, the doctor. She's got the puppy love for the dog, same way Rose did, and Martha. Dr. Karen. Captain Jack. It's funny, after they defeat the Daleks by using that other TARDIS. Incidentally, for those who don't know, she quote unquote tricks the rest of the Dalek Death Squad into the spare TARDIS, tricking them into thinking it was her TARDIS, and then of course proceeds to let it get sucked into the time vortex. You can guarantee Chibi, who's super unimaginative, is going to bring that back and find some way to explain how those Daleks become even more powerful because she gave them a goddamn TARDIS. I guarantee you that's going to happen. I guarantee you. It's going to be some kind of, I shouldn't have put him in that TARDIS because it was a really stupid plan anyway. So when it's all said and done, when we were time for our 4 hours of goodbyes, how do we get to say goodbye to Jack? We get to see Captain Jack Harkness, other than a stupid ass cameo from last season, for the first time in years and years and years. He's in the whole episode. He's really the only thing that you kind of watch and feel anything for, and it's kind of and mostly sadness to see him in this thing. And then Jack, just after they end up stopping the Canadian Spider-Man. Great to see you, my friend. Does whatever a Canadian spider can. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, my friend. So Jack, this is how we get a goodbye from Jack. It's a fucking phone message. That's right. You heard me. Well, that's right. They were trying to destroy. They were going after the police boxes. No question. There was some symbolism there. Mark with a C. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. Basically, Jack says goodbye via a friggin' phone message. He mentions Gwen Cooper going to go hang out with her for a while. Then we get the tedious, boring ass. Remember when companions saying goodbye to a doctor were really emotional? This one's like, you know what, Doc? We're just gonna check out. Man, go, take it easy. Have a good one. So the doc, Dr. Karen just said, yeah, whatever, guys. I'll take Yaz with me. And we get the same old thing that started in that first stupid episode with her of Graham and Ryan trying to ride the bike, and he still can't ride the bike. I guess that was supposed to be a touching scene. You got me. And they even see a little vision of Ryan's mother, Graham's wife, which was supposed to be something poignant, I suppose. If you care about this show, whatever. So we after the episode, we got a little glimpse of the new companion coming up. This kind of makes me laugh. This is kind of funny, really. All this talk about. Oh, man. I mean, all the Tumblr girls can't be happy because this is and I don't know the guy. Is it John Bishop or something like that his name is? He's a comedian. And comedians can be really good actors. I don't know the guy. They say he's funny. Fine. He's going to meet Santarans or whatever, and he's going to be a regular. I guess he needed training wheels, buddy. Yeah. So, John Bishop, maybe? Anyway, he's going to be the new companion. And guess what he is? Bad enough he's a male. He's a white male. Chibi, come on, man, dude. You're letting the SJWs down, partner. What are you doing, man? A white man? What's wrong with you? But anyway, so that's the way that's going to go down. Whenever the piece of crap comes back, there's only going to be 8 episodes. So, yeah, this is a total piece of shit. There's nothing good about it. There's no redeeming qualities. Other than the time I lost, I didn't really lose much, didn't really care much. You know, it's a piece of trash. And yes, is Jodie, a lot of people were very sure about that news yesterday. They were very sure that Jodie Whittaker's leaving. And I've heard some people say they don't know. I would not be surprised if it turned out not to be true. It's probably true. I'm not saying it isn't. I don't, the Daily Mirror, though. So it might be true. I'm not saying it isn't, but I was skeptical when I heard it. And then everyone's run with it like it's a fact, and maybe it is. Look, I'm not over there. I'm an ugly American, as you know. So, yes, it could well be that Jodie Whittaker is truly gone, but it doesn't matter. See, it doesn't matter if you add some comedian. Doesn't matter if you get rid of Jodie, and even if you cast someone who's really good in the role. I mean, look, Peter Capaldi's fantastic, and he was stuck with years of lousy, horrible stories and bad characterization. So you got to have that. Moffat just didn't give a shit, in my opinion. Well, if you got Chibi, you still got a piece of shit. Even if he casts someone good, if it's Michael Sheehan. Well, didn't he kill Rassilon? Ugh. Could be they put the story out to draw up interest. I mean, that could be, Eric. Again, I'm not sure I'm buy into it yet. I mean, if it happens, look, I'll be wrong. I'll be fine. But her leaving does nothing for me. Because you know what? At the end of the day, as the kids say, I don't like that saying much, but this is all chibi. Nothing that happened on this show, whether you like Jodie Whittaker or not, and I don't. I mean, I think she's terrible. She didn't cast herself, folks. It's really the BBC's fault. They hired the dumbass, but when you get past that part of it, it's everything that happens is Chibi. He's the showrunner. That's the way it works. Every piece of shit, everything you see on that screen that angers you or just makes you go, oh my God. All of it. All of it. All of it. All of it's Chibi. All of it's Chibi. It's not, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. She's a terrible casting. And she said some stupid shit. But she didn't cast herself, did she? So, I don't know. If she is gone, I'm not celebrating. And even if in fact, this will be worse. I'd rather look. She and Chibi should be a package deal, because if let's just say she's gone, and he stays and does more, and he casts. Let's say for some reason someone leans on him to cast a good guy, like Michael Sheen's been talked about a lot. Sheen or whatever. A great actor. He would be a great casting for Doctor Who, but so was Peter Capaldi. And look at that season. Now, that show never really had any good stories. So if it's Chibi, I don't care who the casting is. A lot of people didn't like Colin Baker. I really love Colin Baker. He was a fan of the show. He had a lot of faults. His stories, he had some bad stories here and there. John Nathan Turner made a lot of poor decisions during that era, although I think he did do some good stuff. I'm not as down on John Nathan Turner era as a lot of people. I love Sylvester McCoy. A lot of his early episodes are pretty bad. So you could have a great doctor and have a show that's really messed up still. Proven in a lot of cases. So, if Chibi's there, none of this means a damn thing. And so that's that with the Doctor. Now, I'm going to go to a comic book topic here, everyone, because I've been wanting to talk about this. And again, I hope that I don't know how much of this is interesting to anyone. I don't know how much of you are into comics, the history of comics. I love the history of comics and different things like that. And I love these CBR lists are kind of funny to me, and they're voted on. So it's fine. I mean, they're just opinions. I joke about it, say, "Oh my God, I don't care. It's not a big deal." But I do find them interesting because I like these topics. Comics, folks. We do a lot of comics here. CBR had 2 different lists that came out. So they do a lot of these lists, and people vote on them. Like say, I didn't get to vote. I didn't get to vote. Why I don't get to vote? Well, he did a top 10, 100 list, and I'm going to go through it really quickly and just comment on it. It's the top comic book 100 comic book runs of all time, and not comic books that give you the runs. And after that, they did a little top 10 list of the top 10 Alan Moore series, and apparently they really need a lot of coaching on that one. So, what is a comic book run? A comic book run is take an established series or character, like, whether it's Batman or Spider-Man or what, or FF or Justice League or what have you. What was the best creative team stint on it? What, either writer, artist, or, like Lee Kirby Fantastic Four, which really should be Kirby Lee Fantastic Four, excuse me. Ditko Lee Spider-Man, or Ditko Ramita, or Ramita Lee Spider-Man, or something like that, or O'Neil Adams Green Lantern, that sort of thing. What were the top 100 runs? Now, on this, there are 100 of them. Even I haven't read all of them because there's some, that weren't really my bag. But I respect some of them. I actually do respect some of these. And I'm just going to, in other words, it could be a series I didn't read, but I know of it because, again, go and Eric, get ready, man. Some of these from when I ran comic shops and then later even owned one. Go for it, man. I gave you the opening. But I had to. I mean, we're talking about comics here. So I respect some of them being on here, even if they weren't my bag. But my problem basically with this list is how low some of them are. How low some of these fuckers are. I mean, now, again, when you get into the top, a lot of them there are a lot that I can't argue with too much. Except placement, maybe. And I didn't make my own list to say I would put this one, but this one above that one, or this one at number one, or this one number two. But I did find some of them that were not worthy either to be as high as they are or to be on the list at all. But again, they're voted on by its opinions and all that stuff. But I just found, for me, it's interesting. I know it's probably not interesting for anybody else. By the way, before we get started, my daughter sent me a late Christmas present. Anybody want some bat popcorn? A Batman popcorn maker. Dude, I gave you the window, so you used it. That's great. Anybody want some popcorn though? Yeah, this is. I mean, I love Batman. I love popcorn. Well, I don't say it that much, dude. So anyway, yeah. Oh my goodness. But anyway, yeah, I love it. So my Batman popcorn maker, I'm just so happy. And me on the bridge of the Farragut and Enterprise, depending on which one. So I'm going to go through this list a little bit quick, fairly quickly, and check back every now and then. All right, number 100. Now again, Dave Sim's run on Cerebus, which means all 300 plus all those issues, because Dave Sim created them. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Cerebus. Cerebus the Aardvark. It's a comic I bought, a good while in the early 80s for a while and stuff like that. I only know one human being that bought the book forever. My friend Claude, that some of you know. Oh, yeah, that's my Batman right there, dude. What's that, Chris? Oh, you like my popcorn maker? Man, come on down. We'll get to make you some popcorn. I don't know if it comes in Spidey. Good question, man. It was really nice. And if you don't, I have that picture was just of the popcorn maker. I love it. She even sent it in a classic comic books wrapping paper, which I won't throw the wrapping paper away now because I loved it so much. And she knows me too well. So, Cerebus number 100. Those of you who don't know, you might not know what Cerebus is. You read some Cerebus. Okay, smart Steve, cool. Again, it's respectable. It belongs on the list. 100 might be a little bit low, but that's one of the more controversial comics for a while. I have a bunch of them, but I can't say I stuck with it all the way to the end, but I have one friend that did. So at number 99, okay, I'm going to call the first foul here. Keith Giffen, Tom Mary Beerbaum, Legion of Superheroes run from the early 90s. Fuck you. That's a piece of shit. It sucks. Garbage donkey. Screw you in the face. Die. Boom. See how that's how this list is going to go, folks. Number 98. John Ostrander and Tom Mandrake Spectre. It's a respectable book. It wasn't my favorite or anything like that. I like Ostrander, and I have a lot of friends that liked it. Respectable. Got it. Now, here's a big complaint from me, because this is too goddamn low. Dave Michelinie and Bob Layton's Iron Man run of the 80s. That went on for a good long while. That was a terrific run. A lot of the stuff you see in the Iron Man films was from that Michelinie list. That Michelinie run. So it was really great. It's a great comic, and 97 is too damn low for that, in my opinion. Okay, 96, Robert Kirkman and Charles Aldridge, Walking Dead. And that's still going on. Yeah, Walking Dead, look, I read it from a number of years. I read it for years before the TV show was made, and I kind of liked it for a while. Then I got sick of it. And you know what I did? I traded all of my issues. I had almost like 90 some odd issues of Walking Dead. And I traded them in for a really huge, really cool, gigantic Thor statue and never looked back. And by the time the TV show wasn't even on yet by the time I traded in my issues of Walking Dead, and I never watched the TV show. So, but I understand it being on there. It's very popular. 95 is Peter Milligan and Mike Allred's X-Force Statics. That doesn't belong on there. I mean, that's a bunch of modern drivel. So, no. Just come on. Peter Milligan's a jagoff. So, Mike Allred, I like his art, though. But number 94, Roy Thomas's initial Conan run. Yes, and that's too low. My God, his Conan run on, starting with Barry Windsor Smith when it was Barry Smith first. And all those years he did Conan, man, for Marvel, and his first Conan the Barbarian comic starting in the early 70s. Yeah, that definitely belongs on there. And 94 is fine, I guess, but it definitely needs to be mentioned. It belongs on there. 93. Kazu Kaoki, I never was able to say their names right, so I just said Goseki Kojima's Lone Wolf and Cub. Yes, that might be a little low for Lone Wolf and Cub. That was a great comic. For a long time, I loved me some Lone Wolf and Cub. Smart Steve, I'm a big fan of the Spectre. I wasn't too big on Ostrander's run, but it was okay. I could see it, it was popular. Number 92. Mark Waid and Mike Roingo's Fantastic Four run. They actually left it and then came back to do it later. But that's acceptable. That was a good run. And it kind of brought me back to FF for a while back in the early 2000s. Mark Waid's a lunatic, but that was pretty good. There's one I never read, but I respect a lot. 91, Stan Saki's Usagi Yojimbo. A good friend of mine is a huge fan of that. That's a very respectable comic. Number 90 is Pete Baggy's Hate. Again, not a book I was like, kind of an alternative book, but I could understand it being on here. It's a very respectable series. It's a very acclaimed. I mean, again, these. It doesn't have to be something I like for me to have respect for it and know that it's popular and respect the artist doing it and something like that. It can be something that's not my bag, and I can understand it being on the list. Number 89 is too goddamn low. Will Eisner's The Spirit. Are you kidding me? That's a top 20, top 10. You're at 89. Fuck you. Holy shit, people. They probably do have an R2-D2 popcorn maker now that you mention it. They probably do. Number 88, Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson's and Russ Braun's The Boys. Now, I was never into that book, but it's very popular. So I'm not going to comment that much. At least it's not super ridiculously high up there. Not something I am into, but I respect a lot of people who like it. Number 87, John Allison and Lisa Treman's and Max Sareen's, I forget some of these names too. Giant Days, not a book I ever touched. Have no opinion on it. Fine. There can be stuff in these I didn't even read, folks. I'm familiar with all these things, but that's not something I ever read. Here's one that's bullshit. Jesus Christ. 86. G. Willow Wilson and Adrian Alphana's Miss Marvel. I can only assume, again, I don't even know who they mean other than Kamala Khan. And if that's a Kamala Khan book, man, with a bunch of children do the what the fuck? No, that's crap. Yeah, screw that joint, that garbage. Screw Miss Marvel. Let's see here. All right. This is too goddamn low right here. Jesus Christ. 85. Steve Ditko and Stanley's Doctor Strange run, which was on Strange Tales and some other stuff. No way, man. That should be way up into the low 20s or something. The top 20. It's a classic. Good God, what's wrong with you? Here's a piece of shit that doesn't belong on here on any goddamn list. Tom King's Batman. Fuck that trash. Here's a book that was not my bag, but I respect it being on here. Dave Latham's Stray Bullets. It's very popular, very good, good stuff. Here's some overrated Trivial at 82. Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run, but some people like it. That's fine. It's nothing really I don't really hate it or anything. '81. Larry Hama's initial run on G.I. Joe from the 80s. It was nothing that I was that into, but I got a lot of friends who love it. I totally respect that being on this list. Some good friends of mine really love that comic. 80. Jonathan Hickman's and Nick Dracota's East of West. Not something I'm into, fine. I don't know. Here's some dumb shit right here. 79. Ryan North and Erica Henderson's Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Eat a donkey. Here's a personal thing. I know a lot of people like this crap. I can't stand it, but I'm gonna be nice and give it that enough people are for this. But Mark Millar's and Brian Hitch, and Hitch is a good artist. Ultimates. I fucking hate Ultimates. Hate Ultimates. But I know a lot of people like them. Fine. If you're a fan, it's at 78, so it's not too offensive. The next one pisses me off. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Smart Steve. Sure. Strange Tales has to be way down there. Mark with a C. Miss Marvel's going to get canceled. Okay, 77. Roy Thomas Avengers. Are you shitting me? That's at least top 30. 77. And again, these are all voted on. It has 148 points. So they're voted on. It's fine. I'm just saying. I think it's low. Just bounce it off. Here's another one that's ridiculously low. A couple of them come up there friggin' low. And this is a book I respect. I was never really big into these. I have some friends who love them. 76. Carl Barks Ducks comics. I'm talking about his Uncle Scrooge and a lot of his Disney work. Carl Barks was a master. That's just, again, I know because it's old, nobody cares, and they're getting a lot of votes, but okay. But I have a lot of respect for Carl Barks and that, but it's fine that it's on the list at least. Now, this one pisses me the fuck off. 75. Jack Kirby's Fourth World. That should be at least inside of the top 50 or 40. It's not my favorite Kirby work, but Jesus Christ. 75, it's a little bit out there. Now for a bit of underrated stuff for me. Every now and then I'll check, see what's going on over there. Yeah, I can't stand Ultimates either, Smart Steve. 74. Chris Claremont and Bill Sienkiewicz's New Mutants. I was never big onto this series, but a lot of people liked it. I remember it sold very well, and the book was not selling until, I just thought it was weird. I don't know. It was just kind of not my bag, but, I get it. People liked it. Here's another one that never got into, but I respect it, and a lot of people liked it. 73, John Layman and Rob Gilroy's Chew. Chew's a very popular series. Fairly modern day, but not my bag, but a lot of people like it, and I respect it. 72, Mark Waid's Daredevil. I read that for a while, early on when it was on. Mark Waid's a nut job and all that shit. I think he did it with Chris Samney and some other people. Okay, it's yeah, I don't know if it belongs on here. I didn't think it was all that great personally, and not because I think Wade's an idiot, because he's written some good stuff, but not so sure it belongs on here. But again, some of this contemporary stuff is going to be popular. Here's one that just kind of torn up about. 71, O'Neill and Adams, Denny O'Neill, Neil Adams, Green Lantern, Hard Traveling Heroes series, classic. Now again, I'm one who is highly, highly, highly critical of the writing. The art's wonderful, brilliant by Adams, and is still such a classic. It should rate higher. Even though I kind of make fun of the writing now. The Magneto as headmaster thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, I don't know. All right, this one's bullshit right here, folks. Another one too damn low. Kirby and Lee's, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Thor run. Holy shit. That should be somewhere at least inside the 30s or up there. A lot of great comics that have been come out. But that run there, my God, they did it for so long. That's too goddamn low for Kirby Thor. Kirby Thor is way better than that. Okay, here's what I like. I think the placement's kind of okay on it, but this was a good run. Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cowan's The Question. That was from the 80s. That was a good comic. And it was a pretty good run there for a while there. So I like that book. It was good. So that should have been, and it's fine at 69, dude. But yes, dude. But yeah, I mean, at least it's on the list, and that's a good thing. Here's one. It was okay. It's not one of my favorites, but it's a very respective run, and it's good. 68. Roger Stern, John Romita Jr.'s Amazing Spider-Man run. That's from the early 80s, for those who don't know, and it was pretty good. Oh, I see what, wow, that's a pretty good run to have all those, but yeah, you're missing that key issue there. I see what you're saying there, Mark with a C. All right, let's see here. Okay, here's one of my biggest ones. I mean, we're getting now into the nitty gritty of why some of this shit is just too friggin' low. I'm sorry, too friggin' low. Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin, Detective Comics, the once called the definitive Batman run. At 67, you can go screw yourself. That belongs in the top 20, close to 20, somewhere up in there. That's just a little bit low. I mean, it's on here, and that's fine. Look, if it's on here, ultimately, that's a good thing, okay? But, whew, man, that's too goddamn good. I mean, that's such a classic. I'm a big fan of The Question, though, Smart Steven. I kind of like that Dennis Cowan. I mean, the Cowan O'Neil run, but I hear you. 66, Tom King, Gabriel Hernandez, Walters, Vision. That was, I don't know. That doesn't belong. Again, new readers, what are you going to do? They all vote. I guess they're all drivel. All right. A lot of friends like this. This is not my cup of tea. Being on the list is okay, I guess, but I'm not a big Garth Ennis guy per se. Garth Ennis and John McCrae's Hitman at 65. Again, it's all right. 64, Robert Kirkman and Corey Walker and Ryan Otley's Invincible. Now, I read that book for many years. I don't read it anymore. Its first few years were really good. I have no problem with it being on this list. It's some brutal stuff. There's an animated series coming out soon on that. So, Invincible was a good book for a long time, though. I'll give it that. That's true, Mark with a C. These lists do skew, as you say, to the newer readers. That's true. And then they're voting. But again, it's fun to look at them, though. I mean, I'm not taking a lot of stock in them. I'm just I like commenting on them, though. Here's I'm a big Alan Moore guy, as you all know. I did a whole show talking about the history of Alan Moore work. 63, Alan Moore and J.H. Williams' Promethea. That was not one of his better works. Originally, it was kind of interesting, but I don't think it even belongs on this damn list. But it's popular with some people, so what are you going to do? And now we get back to that category of not really something I ever liked, but I respect it because so many people like it. It's one of the most critically acclaimed comic books ever made, and it's all the way down at 62, and that was the Los Bros Hernandez brothers, Love and Rockets. Love and Rockets is big stuff, or it was in the 80s, but I guess, again, like you say, it skews toward those newer readers. At least till we get farther on, it does. 61, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez's Lock and Key, a book I never read. There's even a TV show on it now. I think I read one issue or something like that, but a lot of friends really swear by it and say it's a great series. So, I respect it being on here. Everything doesn't have to be something I love. If it's on here and I can respect it. Here's one I'm really pissed off about. This next one at number 60 is in my opinion, it's a top 10er. And it's at 60. Alan Moore's Marvel Man / Miracle Man. Holy shit. It's one of the greatest comics ever made. It's 60. Yeah, it just shows, again, a lot of these younger readers. Don't worry, Steve. I'm breathing, buddy. I'm breathing. We're good. I'm just having a little bit of fun, bud. I like this sort of thing. I love talking comics when I can. I know not everyone likes it that much, but I love doing it. So what the hell? And I appreciate whoever's hung around for this boring crap, but I enjoy it anyway. 59. Jeff Johns and Scott Collins Flash series. You know, it was pretty good. I was a little high for that. I mean, it was all right. But in my view, it's a little high. Just me. It was okay. 58. Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker's Gotham Central. I've heard good things about it, just not really my bag. Okay, there you go. Well, cool. Smart Steve. You've been around then, man. You've been around if you read that. 57. Dan Slott's Spider-Man. Oh, God. That's what you know. We got a bunch of youngsters here. Fuck Dan Slott. Fuck his piece of shit. Ugh. Now, obviously, I didn't read that whole run, but I read enough, and I know enough about the Dan Slott's a moron. He wrote some old, before he did that shit, he wrote a couple of old comics that I like, but he's never really been able to write since then. And this next one's even worse. But Dan Slott, someone believes that fucking Dan Slott's shitty Spider-Man run is better than Alan Moore's Marvel Man / Miracle Man. Fuck that shit. How that rates above that? Eat a bag of shit. 56 is bad too. Brian Michael Bendis' Avengers. That's a bunch of fucking shit. Brian Michael Bendis sucks. His Avengers is garbage. Maybe some people like it. I don't know. Obviously they do. But Jesus Christ. Fuck Bendis and fuck Slott. Fuck both of those dicks. All right. 55. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips' Criminal. A lot of my friends, and I have a lot of people that like the series. Never was anything that big to me. I respect it being on there. It's fine. Well, it's all fine. I can't do anything about it anyway. I'm just saying I have respect for it being on the list. 54. Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force. Another example of just a bunch of new readers that like dumb crap. Screw that shit. Okay, the next one, I respect this one too. It was never my bag. It was a good book. I liked it enough. I was never really that too much into it though. But excuse me, at 53, Grant Morrison's Invisibles. Let's see here. No one with less than 20 years experience with comics should get a vote. Forgive me. Canadian Spider-Man, I'm with you, brother. That's pretty much nails how I feel about him, my friend. Slott's I thought, look, Slott did about 2 or 3 comics back in the early 2000s that I really loved to this day. Everything else is total shite, especially his new Fantastic Four trash. God, it's Fantastic 44, they should call it. All right. 53 was Grant Morrison. Oh, here's another in the too low category. 52. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams' Batman. It's a classic, dude. It belongs way higher than, I don't know where it belongs. It belongs way higher than 52, in my opinion. That's just me. 51. Another one that belongs higher than friggin' 51. I know we're closing the gap with not as many places, but I'm sorry. It belongs higher than this. Jim Starlin's Warlock. Holy shit, that's too low. Too damn low. Eric, stop spreading nasty rumors. Let's see. All right, number 50. Talk about low. I don't know. And the reason why some of it's low is because some of the shit in front of it. Number 50, Ramita and Lee Spider-Man. Are you shitting me at 50? All right. And again, it's not because there are a lot of other great things. It's because look at what's at 49. I got a friend of mine that reads this comic. I won't touch it, but the people like it. I know it's new. 49, Al Ewing and Joe Bennett, Immortal Hulk. Ugh. They say it's good. Fine. I don't care. I'm not going to touch it. Now, here's one that falls under the category of very respectable, not something I read or care much about, but a lot of people like it and love it that I respect it, so I'm fine with it. And that's 48, Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham's, and Steve Lee. Aloha, where's he been? Fables. I respect Fables. It's fine. And here we get one that I like. I think it was really good. I mean, I can see it being high. I'm not sure it should be this high. 47, Jeff Johns' JSA run. It was good. There was a lot of good stuff in there. You know, whatever. Here's one I totally respect being on here. And it was never my book bag, but a lot of friends loved it. And I like it. It was a good comic. Mike Mignola's Hellboy at 46. The next one, I wish my buddy Mark C. were here. Mark C., are you lurking out there, brother? Are you lurking? Is Mark C. out there? Somebody find Mark C. for me. I was going to invite him on here, but I knew he was busy. I didn't want to bug him. So, but maybe I'll get him on. We'll talk about the list at some point. This was for you, Mark C. And we've had our arguments and disagreements about this. 45, John Byrne's Superman. He loves Byrne. He loves Byrne's Superman. I don't love it myself. I wouldn't put it on this list myself. Nevertheless, it might surprise him and others to know. I respect it being on here. I don't think it should be that high. But it's at 45. And I don't know if Mark would probably think it needs to be higher. I don't know. I'm going to ask him one day, I guess. But I wish he was here. No, I actually wish he was here tonight. So if Mark C., if you are out there, buddy, that was for you. 44. Jason Aaron and Arnim Guerrera's Scalped. Not a book I ever touched or anything. Know very little about it, so I have no real comment on it. Other than if it's at 44, I question it being that high, considering some of the classics it's in front of. Come on. Okay, now this is kind of interesting to me, and I think way too friggin' high. I kind of get it being on somewhere on the list, but at 43, Peter David's second run on X Factor. It's good. I don't know, man. But see, that's where you go. We were talking earlier about how they have a lot of young viewers, but some of this stuff they're voting on. Some of this isn't old. Isn't young for youngsters. Some of this is some older stuff. We're going to get into some stuff that's fairly older. So I don't know. 42, Warren Ellis, Derek Robertson, and Rodney Ramos, Transmetropolitan is never was my bag, but many of my good friends love it. It's one of the most respected comics ever made. I totally respect it being on the list. Some would, and I know there are some who would argue it to be higher. So, and I have my issues with Ellis here and there, but there are people who really love that comic, so I don't have an issue with that. Don't see who. I don't see him, Clobberin times. Who do you not see? I'm not sure what you're talking about. You were talking about there. I'm sorry. All right. Number 41. Another book I liked. It was good and everything, but I also respect it being on here because it is a pretty acclaimed comic. Maybe a little bit high, but others might disagree. Jeff Smith's Bone. It's respected. I'm glad to see it get. It deserves to be on the list somewhere. Number 40, and here we go with the young viewers, the young readers again. Matt Fraction and David Hodges, Hawkeye. I don't know. Matt Fraction. People like him. He's contemporary. I don't know. Now, I think my buddy Mark C. would kind of appreciate this one. Number 39, Kurt Busiek's and George Perez's Avengers run. Personally, I liked it. I had some issues with it here and there, but it was a good run. It was again, that's high. That's way up there. That's higher up than I expected it to be. But again, that's fine. Again, we're getting some old stuff here again. So still, older, I should say. Which one was way too low, Steve Mitchum? Oh, Rod Thunderheart popped in. Let's see here. Yeah, Immortal Hulk, I don't get it. Again, a friend of mine likes it. It's fine. This high up on this friggin' list, Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Well, I'll tell him about it later. I would like to have had him on. Thanks, Canadian Spider-Man. I appreciate it, by the way. I would like to have had him on, but I know this is kind of work we expect on. I don't know if he's on the road or whatever, so I didn't want to bug him. All right. Number 38. Now, this belongs on this list, and you can have it wherever you want. At least it's on here. Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum's X-Men run. Uncanny X-Men, I should say. You know, they're the one when they first brought back the quote-unquote new X-Men. So that's a damn fine run. Belongs wherever you want to put it. That's nice. That's pretty damn high. That's pretty good. However, this crap doesn't belong in front of it. 37. Joss Whedon and John Cassidy's astonishing X-Men run. It started out pretty good for a while. Cassidy's art is great. It's not better than Claremont and Cockrum's X-Men run. Jesus Christ. Huh. So, number 36, and this is kind of, I mean, this is a book I was never personally into. Didn't like the artist that much. Well, they had the different artists. Sometimes they only list the writer and not the artist because they weren't, you know, he had varying artists and stuff. I respect this book. I think it's okay. It's way, way too high. In my opinion, John Ostrander's Suicide Squad. And of course, that's from the 80s, for those who don't know, 80s and a little bit into the 90s. It was a good long run. I mean, it's I don't know, it's a good comic, I guess. And look, at the fact that it's something older, you know, that's cool that it's on here. It's just, again, I respect it. I don't know if it's a little bit high kind of, but hey. Here's another one I never got into, but a lot of respectable people and a lot of people really love it, so I respect it being here. It's a little high, probably. I've always heard good things about it. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples' Saga. A lot of people swear by Saga, say it's a great comic, so I respect it being on here. I'm sure that, you know, obviously, I don't know. I'm not sure it needs to be before some other classics, but, you know, whatever. Oh, shit, the next one. Everybody ready for some blood vessel popping? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to yell and scream. I'm not going to yell and scream about this. I'm saying again, folks. I'm saying again, folks. I'm not going to yell and scream about this one. But it's fucking stupid. None of his shitty comics should be on there, in my opinion. But number 33. Excuse me. Oh, that's 33 I'm going to bitch about. Let me do 34 first. I'm sorry, I missed one. 34. Garth Ennis' Punisher. I don't think it belongs on this list. Certainly not that low, not that high, I mean. But some people like it. Not my bag, but, you know, I'm not much of a Punisher guy. I know that's unpopular. I have a big secret about me, folks. I have a lot of unpopular opinions. I don't mind voicing them, so it's got me into trouble. One night I'm gonna do a show about all my unpopular opinions, so you can all hate me even more. I'll still love you, but you'll hate me. 33. Holy shit, 33. Holy fucking shit, 33. Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh. Are you shitting me in the face? Fuck. Brian Michael Bendis is fucking one of the worst goddamn writers ever. Ever. Overrated piece of shit. Fuck him. And fuck Ultimate Spider-Man. Fuck all Ultimates. Man, I fucking hate Ultimates. Can you tell I hate Ultimates? Can you tell? Fuck that shit. Yeah, but, you know, and the fact that it's that fucking high doesn't belong on there at all, but that fucking high. All right, 32, folks. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman. Are you shitting me? Look, a lot of people like the book. I can never get into it because it's Screw 52 trash for me. However, I understand it's popular, but that high over O'Neill and Adams Batman, over Englehart and Rogers Batman, eat a bag of dicks, you fuckheads. Fuck off. And I believe you, Mark. See, a lot of people like that Punisher run. It's good. I mean, and that's fine. It's on there. It was never my bag, but hey, like I said, like I keep saying in a lot of cases, even if it's something I'm not into, I respect some things being on here. I don't respect Ultimate shit being on here. I don't respect fucking Scott Snyder's Batman being higher than some of those great classic Batman runs. Fuck that noise. All right. Okay, here's again another under the category of never was really much my bag, but a lot of people love it, so I'm not going to bitch about it that much. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Preacher. A lot of people love Preacher, man. It was never my cup of tea. I've read it. Sorry, I mean, it's a book. Just not really my thing. I respect the book. I mean, it's pretty high, but it was very popular. I can't really knock it too much. The next one's actually one I won't really bitch about the placement that much. I think it belongs here. And 30's about right. 30. Warren Ellis and John Cassidy's Planetary. Anyone ever out there read Planetary? It was a book I loved. I don't know. It should be shouldn't even be on the list, in my opinion, Chris. It shouldn't be on the list, in my opinion. Oh yeah, look, I mean, I'm just not a big Punisher guy. There's some good Punisher comic books for sure. You know what? I don't think we've gotten Stern Ramita, I think, is going to be on there, Mark, with a C, and I think it's pretty high too. Steve Mitchum, I'm looking back at some of these. That should be at 220. I'm not sure which one you're referring to there, Steve Mitchum, if you let me know. All right, let's see here. All right, Planetary, the comic book that took. Let's see here. It's a comic that took about 15. I want to say 12, 15 years, 13 years. I can't remember, maybe 12, 15 years. I'm a little off on that. Maybe I can't remember exactly. To put out 28 issues and a few specials. That's how that comic. I remember we would go years and years without getting an issue of Planetary. I go, man, I got to go back and read the previous issue because it's been like 3 years since. Oh my God, an issue of Planetary came out. Great comic. Messed up comic because it's Warren Ellis. He's a sicko. But Jesus Christ, Planetary took fucking forever. But I have no problem with it being at 30 on this list. It's a great comic. Let's see here. Okay, this is too low for me. This is a top 10er for me. So yeah, at least it's 29. That's high, I guess. But Jesus Christ, 29. Grant Morrison's Animal Man. That's one of that 26 issues. The first 26 issues of his Animal Man from 80s up into the 90s, late 80s, in the early 90s. It's one of the greatest comics ever written. He's a jackass, Morrison, but that was a great comic. That's low, buddies, but yeah, I'll take it. 28. You know what? I was never big on the art. The art on this run is kind of what I had a problem with, but I mean, a lot and the roster. But this is very well respected. I think it's a bit high, but you can't knock success. I guess a lot of people do love it. 28 is Roger Stern's Avengers run, and they don't list artists because he had a lot of different artists. I think Buscema, a few other people. Planetary is great if you can get the trades or something like that, man. It's just now that they're all done, but man, waiting for it every like it was maybe if we got lucky, we'd get like an issue or two every year, and had a couple of crossover special things, man. All right, 20. You know something? 27 is a comic book that is near and dear to my heart that I love. For me, on a personal note, it's way too low, but at least it got some respect and it made it high up. And I'm gonna give it some credit for getting at 27. So 27 is the Paul Levitz, Keith Giffen Legion of Superheroes run. That's encompassing leading up and in the Great Darkness saga and into their run when they were together on the Baxter series as well. Great stuff. I'm glad it's at 27 at least. I would have it way higher, probably close to a top 10er to be or something like that, but that's nice to see it get that kind of love. Number 26 is a really good comic. To me, this is personally a little bit too high, but I'm not going to bitch about it too much. It's very respected. It's a good comic. It's Ed Brubaker's Captain America. It was a really good run. I'm not going to knock it. 25, again, a good comic. For me, it was never, I mean, this might be a little high, but it's one of the most popular runs in comics, so I can get it. I get this. Peter David's Incredible Hulk at 25. It was a good comic. You know, I mean, again, oh my God, here we go with the fucking Bendis again. Shit. Someone should make it illegal to have Brian fucking Michael Bendis on this list. Fuck him. Number 24, Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleeves. And I hate to say anything about it, but he's a good artist. The Bendis Maleev Daredevil run. I know a lot of people like it. Fine. Yeah, I mean, the Punisher's is really a very derivative character of a character called Matt Bolan, the Executioner, from the Executioner novels by Don Pendleton, years before Jerry Conway kind of swiped him to make the Punisher. The Punisher originally, you know, when he first started popping up in Marvel Comics, was using rubber bullets. A vigilante character who just shoots people and stuff doesn't really work for me well in the superhero universe per se, but there have been some good comics, and he's fine, you know. I did like what the Tick said about the character of Big Shot in the Tick comic book and cartoon, who was kind of representative of the Punisher, when the Tick said, "Guns and superheroes don't mix." Persia, hey Chris, Tom King's stupid Batman's already been up there. I'll find the number for you. I've already let's see. Tom King's Batman was it was too high because it doesn't belong in here at all. Tom King's his Vision was on at 66. I think Tom King's Batman was on here. Oh, that's another one. Maybe that's a different one. I didn't get to they didn't have Tom King's Batman yet. Oh, I was talking about something else he did. Let's see. Okay. My God, if Tom King's Batman's on here, shit. That was Scott Snyder's. I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry about that, Chris. All right, so yeah, fuck Brian Michael Bendis in his face. 23. Another one of those books I respected. It was good. It's kind of weird. Not my favorite. I think this is high for it, but it's very well loved. So what do I know? Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. Good book. You know, it's crazy, weird stuff. They based that TV show on it a little bit, pretty much. Yeah, I love the Tick. No, I don't think it was 99, buddy. I think maybe I didn't get to it yet, but I'll double check that when we get to the end there. All right, here we go. So, number 22. Too high. It was good. It was okay. Mark Waid's a nut, but this was an okay run. Mark Waid's Flash, and it went on a long time. Wasn't my bag. I mean, I liked it, but I'm a Barry Allen guy, so it took me a little getting used to with the Wally West thing and stuff at that point. It was good. At 22, I think this is a little bit high, just personally. Okay, this is crap. 21. Look, a lot of people like it, so I get it. Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four. You know, I gave that run a try because I love the Fantastic Four so much and kept having it recommended to me. I didn't really like it that much. I get it kind of being popular and kind of on here, but at 21, no, sir. No, sir. Yeah, there's no denying that. No denying that, Rod Thunderheart. Peter David. Oh, maybe I just skipped over. It was 84? Let me see. Yeah. That's right. It was at 84. Thanks, Mark, with the C. You remember better than I do, buddy. So, yeah, Chris Persia, it was at 84, which, you know, at least it wasn't too high. It certainly don't belong there at all, in my opinion, but what do I know? So there you go. Number 20. This is a weird one. I think this book, I don't see it being on here. I don't understand why. I mean, it's being this high. But number 20 is Grant Morrison's New X-Men. I mean, I think that was the Frank Quitely stuff for a while and did the art on it. Again, it's okay. I don't know, maybe a little high. Richard Sullivan, my good buddy. Hey, man, congrats to your Browns. You're going to the playoffs, man. Good luck in the playoffs, man. Winning yesterday. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. All right. Number 19, a respectable comic. A lot of people love it. It was okay. I think this is way too high for it, but again, it's popular enough, so I'm not going to bitch about it. James Robinson's Starman. It's a good comic. I mean, it's again. I never really liked Jack Knight that much. Everyone loved him. I mean, I don't know about him, but it's good. It's a good. I mean, it's respectable. Number 18. Again, book I never touched. Book a lot of people love. This is pretty damn high, but I didn't touch it, so I can't say much about it. I think this might be a little high for it, considering some of the things it's supplanted. But 18 is Brian K. Vaughan and Brian K. Vaughan's and Pia Guerrera and Jose Marzan Jr.'s Why the Last Man. Popular comic, nothing against it. But no, not something I was into. Now here's number 17. I'm not so sure it should be quite this high, but I like it. I mean, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. In fact, I love it. I'm fine with it being way up there, so this high is okay. He did a lot of great Green Lantern. In fact, he brought me back to DC for a while back in the early aughts when he did Green Lantern Rebirth. I assume they're going from Green Lantern Rebirth and in his regular Green Lantern series. I hope that they're probably just kind of lumping everything in like his Screw 52 crap, in which case I'm not down with. So that's why I think this is a little bit high, but okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I like some of his older Green Lantern, maybe not all of it. So I don't know about 17, but there you go. And every now and then I like to chat, see what's going on. I missed the Tick cartoon. God, I love that show. You guys talking about the Tick. I know you're talking about the Tick TV series, but I missed the damn cartoon. I loved it. All right. Number 16 is a good comic. I mean, it's really high. Again, some of the stuff's older and it's high. It's crazy. I like it. Number 16 is Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis. I always say DeMatteis or DeMatteis. I always forget how you say his name. They're Justice League International. They don't put Kevin McGuire on there. He drew it for a good while. I don't know, but if they're talking, I think they're talking from that point. It was a good comic. It was really good. I mean, that's kind of high, considering a lot of the things it's ahead of. But yeah, it was good. All right, this next one pisses me off. Who's ready for a big piss off? Before I say this next one at 15. Who wants to play? Who can guess whether I'm pissed because it's too high or too low? In the chat, am I pissed off at number 15 because it's too high or too low? Place your bets, folks. I want to see what the chat thinks about that. Why the last man? Exactly. Why the last man? I don't know. So what is it? Does Ben J. Grimm think the next number 15 is too high or too low? It belongs on the list. No guesses? Okay. Eric K. says high. Mark with a C says too low. Was Jay elongated man? Yeah, I like elongated man, but I hear you. So we have a high and a low. Oh, Chris Burgess says high. Okay, taking one more vote. Let's see. Okay, so Smart Steve, I'm going to interpret that as a too low. I mean, too high or too low. I can't tell exactly what you're saying. Rod Thunderheart says too high. Richard Sullivan says too high. Well, actually, Smart Steve, if you're saying I think the number 15 should be closer to 1, you're right. My number 15 is probably, if it's not my number 1, it's in my top 4 and top 3. So too low was the answer. It belongs in the top 2 or 3 for me because it's one of my all-time favorite comics. I've done a show about it, talking about it for hours. It's one of the greatest comics ever made. It is probably the greatest usage of all those great superhero archetypes ever done. And these fuckheads have it at number 15. Kurt Busiek, Britt Anderson, and Alex Ross's Astro City. Kurt Busiek's Astro City, to me, is brilliant. It's fantastic. I've never missed an issue. It had its 25th anniversary this past year. I did a big show about that. I wrote up a big, long article about it. I'm nuts for it. I love it. Even in its a weak issue of Astro City is better than 10 times better than most of the twaddle on the stands. That last Vertigo run was nowhere near as good as some of the earlier ones, but still, Kurt Busiek's Astro City is one of those brilliant things ever put to paper. It is a masterpiece. Some of the issues of it are some of the very greatest comics ever made. To have it at 15, they can suck off. But what are you going to do? But still, I guess that's high considering how old it is. So I don't know. And you know, what am I going to do? But I'm glad it's up there at least. But man, for me, if it's not 1, I'm not sure what I would put it. I might put it at 1. As far as because this list is about runs on a comic. I don't know if I would be blasphemous and put it at 1, but it's a top 5 or top 2, 3 maybe. I don't know. I might put it at 1. I mean, I'm gonna have to think about it. Okay, not big on this next one, but I didn't read it much. I didn't read it at all. In fact, I mean, it's modern horse shit and the fact that this is over. Fucking Astro City can eat donkeys in hell. Jason Aaron's Thor. Fuck the soy Thor. Fuck that shit. Okay, now this next one is for my buddy. Again, a call out to the great Mark C. I wish my buddy Mark C was here for this. Like he was earlier. He's going to be glad that it's at least this high. He would probably have it higher on his list. I'm guessing. He might be like me and think, like I was on my last one there with Astro City, he'd probably think this is too low. I think it's too high. And I'll tell you why, because I think this run was great for the first couple of years, and then I didn't like it for years. It went on too long. And that is John Byrne's Fantastic Four. A lot of great stuff in it. Lady Four. A lot of great stuff in it. But to me, after the first couple of years, I thought Byrne really lost it. That's just me. So I can't rate it that high, but I know my buddy Mark C would disagree, and he would probably like it up there at 13. 12. This is bullshit. It's certainly not above a lot of the things it's above. I mean, this doesn't belong at all. Jonathan Hickman's Avengers. Ugh, poo-poo on that. Why is that so high? Why? Jesus Christ, man. This one is probably right where it should be. This number 11. It could stand to be higher. I mean, it could move either way. It's a great comic. Or was for a number of years. And that's what they call a run on a comic. How many years was it great? That sort of thing. There's a glaring omission from this list that really pisses me off, by the way. But I'll go in that in a second. Number 11, Marv Wolfman and George Perez's New Teen Titans run. 11. Whew, it's a great comic. Mark with a C. I thought that Thor run was good, but not okay. I hear you, man. I got you. Yeah, Burns. Look, I do like Burns' FF run. I really loved it for the first couple of years. I just thought, for me, as a run, I think it kind of fell down for a while. That's just me. Most people don't agree. Okay. Yeah, Wolfman and Perez's run there. That's fine. It was great for a lot of years. Here's one. It was good. It was okay. This is way high, in my opinion. Number 10, we're in the top 10, folks. Chris Claremont's post-Byrne Cockrum Uncanny X-Men run. Of course, for those who don't know, after John Byrne left the X-Men, Dave Cockrum came back on for a while. Other artists eventually, like Paul Smith and Barry Windsor-Smith, things like that. I love Dave Cockrum. It's so sad we lost him so early. One of my favorite all-time artists. I don't know if it was Rubenstein's inks or waves where he was having trouble. I never was really that big into his art on that run as much. It was okay. I mean, I love his Legion stuff and his early X-Men. I love Dave Cockrum, so I'm not going to knock it. The stories, I was kind of checking out of X-Men at that point, so why it's number 10, I don't get. 15 was one I think should have been at 1 or 2 or right up in there. Steve mentioned it was Astro City. Kurt Busiek's Astro City, one of the most brilliant masterpiece, great comic series of all time. It probably belongs at 1, to be honest. I think that's just an opinion. But if not, it's up there. So there's some big omissions from this list. God, Jesus Christ. I mean, not omissions. This was voted on, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, 10, that seems a bit high. Number 9. In a couple of weeks, once we get everything together, Mark C. and I will be reviewing this comic. This is a run we're going to review soon. Walter Simonson's Thor. That, of course, was from the early 80s, starting with Thor 337, the classic. That was a great run. That was a great run. So, yes, when Cockrum went back to X-Men after Byrne left, Smart Steve. No, it wasn't 90s. It was somewhere. It was when Byrne went to the Fantastic Four. Cockrum came back on the book for a while. So this was early 80s, after Byrne left X-Men. Anyway, so at 10, I don't know about all that, but it was good. It was good. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of checking out of X-Men at that point. Okay, so again, 9, Simonson's Thor. Great stuff. All right, this is bullshit for me. For me, and some of you might disagree on this. Not only I don't think this should be 8, I don't even think this should be on the fucking list, much less number 8, okay? What is fucking wrong with people? Grant Morrison's Batman. Fucking hated Grant Morrison's Batman. Especially that R.I.P. bullshit. What the fuck? What in the flying fuck, man? All right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. People like it. Yes, Steve Mitchum, Astro City is 2 words. That is right. The actual title of the book's called Kurt Busiek's Astro City. So, Morrison's Batman, what in the mother of fuck? I fucking hated it. I don't know. Call me crazy. Whatever. People like it. Fine. Fuck off. They don't have to fuck off. I don't get it. Number 7, I don't like either. A lot of people. Now, then more people like this, though. I don't like it because I don't like the lineup of the roster. I get why people like it. This is way too fucking high. We're getting into some blood pressure territory after this one, folks, but this is too goddamn high. Grant Morrison, Howard Porter, John. They mentioned my friend John Dell's JLA. Morrison, Porter, Dell's JLA. John Dell was the inker, but he's also a dear friend of mine, and he inks for DC Comics. So I'm glad they put John Dell's name on there. Good, John, you're the man. All right, so good, a really good artist and a friend of mine, like I said. But yeah. So Grant Morrison's JLA at 7. Come on. No offense to my good buddy John. I never really liked that roster much as far as who was in it. I don't know. Well, they're not, Eric, they're not considering Frank Miller's Batman a run because it was a couple of miniseries. That was all he did of Batman. These are actual continuing series that had certain creative teams, like a certain writer on it, certain writer artist. That's what a run is considered to be in this case. That's why we'll hear from Miller, but not on Batman. Spoiler alert. Okay, all right, folks. Put away the fine china. Remove all the breakables from the room. I'm kidding. I'm really not going to bitch about this one. For me, this would be in the higher. This is a top 2. This is a top 1 or 2. It's probably 1. This is probably number 1. Sentimental reasons, I would probably put it number 1 over Astro City. But if I'm being honest, Astro City might be the better book. But my heart would put this number 6 at number 1. My mind would, in my critical thinking, would put it at number 2. So I'm kind of a switcheroo with the Astro City in this number 6. But 6, this is motherfucker 6. Number 6, and I don't mean the president. Number 6. Number 6. Kirby and Lee's Fantastic Four. 6. Number fucking 6. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Fantastic Four. Are you shitting me? The fuck is wrong with you people? You fucks? I know they voted on. I'm just fucking around. Oh, mother of fuck. Shit, though. Come on, man. 6? And look, the one above it, I love, but I think this is better. So we'll go to number 5. But I'm gonna be hung up on this Kirby thing right here for a minute. Number 5, Ditko and Lee's Spider-Man. I love it. It's not better than Kirby and Lee's Fantastic Four. It's just not. I mean, it's great. It's great. It's great. I love it. I'd have it in the top 10. I have it in the top 10. But I don't know. To be honest with you, I kind of, in some ways, prefer Ramita and Lee Spidey. I'm sorry. But, okay. Number 4. Frank Miller's Daredevil run. Of course, I put Klaus Janson in there. And, of course, that means not only his initial run, but when he went back for 7 issues and did Born Again, which is one of the greatest comics ever made. So you just lump it all together. Miller's Daredevil. It belongs way up. Absolutely. It doesn't belong over Kirby and Lee's FF, but it's great. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. So it's tough to bitch about it. It's tough to argue with it. It belongs up there, so, you know. Another great comic. Again, all these look, they're all, everything in this top, after that stupid, unworthy, those 2 Grant Morrison unworthy pieces of shit. Everything in the top, other than those 2, everything in the top 9 is worthy. I'm questionable on that number 10. So, number 3, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Great, brilliant series. Went on a little bit long. It probably doesn't, and it does not belong over Kirby and Lee's FF, but it's great. It belongs in the top 10. It was a masterpiece, but he kind of ran along with it. I love it because I love Alan Moore, but holy shit, it's probably not better. It's probably, I'd argue it may not belong over Miller either. Miller's Daredevil, but it's close. It's right there. But, maybe over Ditko Spidey, I don't know, but not over Kirby Lee FF. No. Now I'm going to have to suck it up for number 2, folks. Because number 2 is a book I never got into, but I respect it. I say this a lot on this list, I know, but I'm trying to be fair here. Many people think this is one of the greatest comics ever made. It's never been something I'm into, and I'm in the minority. Remember I said earlier I have a lot of unpopular opinions? This is one of them. Not a book I got into that much. A lot of people think it's wonderful and brilliant and fantastic. I respect that. It is good. The times I read it, it's just not really my cup of tea. So I can respect it being at number 2. I'm not going to respect it being over stuff like Miller's Daredevil or more Swamp Thing or Kirby Lee FF or Astro City. But I respect it being high up because a lot of people do love it. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm just going to go, okay. And that, of course, is Neil Gaiman's Sandman. I do respect it. Again, it's not better than those books for me, but this list isn't all about me. My commentary is all about me, but the list is not about me. New Rolling Stone, top 500. Beyonce now rates higher than any Led Zeppelin album. Holy shit. If they mean sales, but if they mean better, they're absolutely out of their motherfucking mind. Holy shit, dude. You got to be kidding me. Well, we live in a fucked up time. Anyone ready for number 1, folks? Who's ready for number 1? It's time for, remember Dr. Demento? It's time for number 1. This is it. Here we go. Number 1. Sorry to sing. Sorry. I'm no doomcock. I can't sing. All right, number 1, folks. Look, this is a great comic. And it got the most votes. I don't think there's any voter fraud to be seen here. So, I didn't get the vote. Just let you know. They didn't ballot me. Not only is it number 1, it's number 1 by a landslide almost. I mean, number 2, Gabe and Salmon got 1,677 votes. This got 2,063 votes. It got 51 first place votes. So that's why it won. And it's a great comic. Who's ready for number 1? I've teased you long enough with number 1. All right. Number 1 is John Byrne, Chris Claremont, Terry Austin's X-Men. I like how they put Byrne before Claremont. The Byrne Claremont X-Men run. A great comic. Number 1, though? Great comic. Does it hold up? Astro City holds up. Kirby Lee FF, and again, sometimes the longer a run is, it has ups and peaks and valleys. I get that. Miller Daredevil run holds up. So does Moore's, and I guess I'm sure Gaiman does. Gaiman's Sandman does for people. And I think the Bird Claremont, I mean, this is a great comic. So I'm not gonna bitch. Number one again wouldn't be my number one on this list, particularly like that. It doesn't mean anything. But what are you gonna do? That's what it is. It is number one, and I guess I'm gonna quickly burn through this Alan Moore list real quick. Then we'll get out of here. There was one other list. And it was Alan Moore series. Maybe I should save it for another night because I yell and scream at this one. You guys don't want to hear this shit anymore. Well, again, in fact, look, I'm going to save the Alan Moore list, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some missed. Anybody notice any glaring omissions from this list? I'll tell you one. Well, actually, Chris Persia, Moore did create Hellblazer, but he never did the Hellblazer comic. That was it was Jamie Delano, but Moore did create him for Swamp Thing. But yeah, the Hellblazer was a popular comic, and no, it was not on here. I'll tell you, Wolfman and Marv Wolfman's Tomb of Dracula not on here. Are you crazy? Really? I mean, that's big. I mean, come on. I don't know, man. That's a little crazy to me. So, I don't know. That's probably, and if I start to think about it, there are probably a lot of other ones, but that's a glaring omission. And I think I'll save the Moore list because that's only 10, but I have to yell and scream about that one because the Moore list that I'm going to do, the Alan Moore list, was it's top 10 Alan Moore series, not top 10 Alan Moore work, but a series. So something that was a regular. In other words, although Watchmen counts as a series, and there was a limited series, it was still a series. Whereas, and some of the stuff's on there really pissed me off on that one. Whereas his Superman work, there were like individual pop issues and stuff, so they don't count those. Let's see. Where are the Micronauts? I don't know. That was a pretty good run. Micronauts 1 through 13. There you go. That's a good one. It's better than a lot of the crap on this list. Michael Golden and even Pat Broderick. Anybody else got some other ones? Well, you know what? You did, by mentioning Captain Marvel, even though it's Brie Larson. Hell, Jim Starlin's Captain Marvel stuff isn't on there. That's ridiculous. No, in this case, Rob Thunderheart, they're talking about runs like on a regular series. In other words, they didn't include miniseries like Secret Wars, for example, or Watchmen, or Crisis on Infinite Earths. Let's see. Oh, I never yell and scream, Richard. You know that, bro. When do I yell and scream? So, yeah, they were talking about run. When they say a run, sometimes it's a writer-artist team, or sometimes it's a writer who had several different artists. Like I said, I just thought some of them were way too damn low, but, yeah, because, see, stuff like that doesn't count. Those are none of that counts, Rod Thunder, because they're talking about regular series. So, yeah, a series run, yeah, so. All right, Chris Persia, thank you for being here, my good friend. We're gonna call this a night as well. We appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm always honored to have you here, sir. And I know you guys are probably bored to tears, but I love talking comics and shit like that. And I just wanted a chance to rant on that list. I hope I ranted sufficiently, but I want. Yeah, the Wolverine miniseries was good. That the Wolverine regular issues. I don't know if they had any kind of good run on those, but I can think of a lot of runs probably if I just looked at it. But Yeah. Final Night would be I think that would be also a mini series. Xerox Hour is a mini series as well. So it has to be like a regular run. For example, again, Wolfman and Colin's Tomb of Dracula run. Hell, that should have been on there, big time. Lynn Wein and where's Lynn Wein and Bernie Wrightson's Swamp Thing? For fuck's sake, where's Dave Gibbons' Rocketeer? Even though it took forever to come out. Where's Mike Grell's John Sable? Fuck, man. There's so many other goddamn things that belong on this. So again, they're voted on. I get it. But anyway, I just thought it would be fun to talk, talk a little comics. Yeah, I thought Thunderbolts was okay when I read some of that. War of the Gods was a miniseries there, Smart Steve, but yeah, I hear you. So, what are you gonna? I was surprised at the omission of the George Perez Wonder Woman run. I would have thought that would have been on there. There was no Wonder Woman on there at all. I was also surprised some of my things I do love, like my Legion. My Legion had a good run on there. It was on there. So, yeah. So what are you gonna do? Anyway, I want to thank everyone who was here with us tonight. Let's see if I can get everybody. I was just winging it by myself tonight, man. Riding solo. I believe either Wednesday or Thursday night I'll be on to do I'll be on to do some open talk. Might talk about more list stuff because lists are fun for me anyway. Saturday night, Raquel Briggs and I will be starting. We started with the Star Trek pilots this past Saturday night. We will be going to the Star Trek pilots. And we did those. I mean, I'm sorry. This Saturday night we will start with we'll be 4 episodes a show. We will review 4, starting with Star Trek the original series. So Siegel and Schuster Superman counts as a run. There's no question about that. Yep. Think about voting on something as people's memories are short and most people's opinions suck donkeys. Ain't that the truth, Eric? So I want to say thank you so much to my great friend Steve Mitchum. Always great to see you here, my buddy. Always been just a great old friend, and I appreciate seeing you, man. Eric K, the great Eric K. Thank you for being here, sir. A big thank you to the great Chris Persia, who was here. Smart Steve 68. Thank you for being here, my friend. Rod Thunderheart, thank you. My old buddy Richard Sullivan was here. Thank you, my friend. Again, go Browns, buddy. I'm rooting for you. Just Joe Jobber. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Mark with a C. Thank you for being here, sir. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. You know me with my crappy memory. I might have forgot some people who popped in earlier. I don't know. I hope I did not, but we had a great crowd here anyway, man. And I just had I had fun, and I was just talking to myself, but you guys made it fun, and I'm glad you were here. I want to thank you so much. Would not have been any fun without you. Thanks for that, Rod Thunderheart. I appreciate that. I hope we see each other again soon. Again, the wonderful Raquel Briggs Saturday night from some Star Trek. Wednesday or Thursday, I haven't decided yet, but tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, 7 Central, I'll be on Valhalla, as always, with the Loki and the gangs. Loki's 7 kinds of mischief. So I'm looking forward to that. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. And let me play us out with some thanks to the great Loki for my outro.